Hey folks, everything new under the sun. So this is Scotty Clark's video about what is the real sign of Jonah. Does it point to prophecy beginning in 2024? And you'll note that I do have 2024 listed on my timeline as possibly the start of the 7-year period. So it does seem to line up with Scotty's timeline a little bit there. Now, Scotty believes, and I can't say I know everything about what he believes, but from what I understand, he believes that the temple occurs in the first half of that week in the blue section there. It is a time of relative peace and security for the Jews, which I agree. I agree that it is exactly a peace and security time for the Jews. At the beginning of the 7-year period, the Antichrist grants them to build the third temple. They begin sacrifices. And then at the end of the first 3.5 years, that's where the sacrifices cease. The Antichrist sits on the throne in the third temple. He sits on the throne in the rebuilt third temple, declares himself to be God, and that is a red line. And then that's when I believe that the wrath of God falls. So there's tribulation, but there's also the great tribulation. Those two different, distinct things as written in Revelation. And so the first 3.5 years is the tribulation. And this is the tribulation that the world brings upon the Christians, certainly. And specifically the Antichrist and the persecution there. And I believe the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse ride as well there with wars, rumors of wars and famine. And all that sort of stuff is going on in that first 3.5 years. That's not the wrath of God. Christians aren't destined for the wrath of God. We will not be here for that. The wrath of God starts in the last 3.5 years, which I believe kicks off around the year 2028, sometime in there. And then it goes through the year 2031, just as Scotty's timeline has there. Whoops. Let me see. Let me go here. Move that there. Just as Scotty's timeline, you'll note that I have 2031 in there as well. So his understanding of end-time Bible prophecy, that timeline, does somewhat match up. So very interesting. I highly recommend you go watch Scotty Clark. He has great insights. I don't know if what he is saying is 100% accurate. I don't know if what I'm saying is 100% accurate, but definitely check him out. Scott Clark is the YouTube channel. I am absolutely subscribed. You can see, and I watched more video than it shows there. But this is kind of his understanding, and like I say, it does line up with mine. So, folks, I think something is big, or something in 2024 could be coming, and it could be big. Does it line up with what the Canadian prepper was talking about, cyber attack? Well, we've already had Event 201, which was about a COVID, right? That was a test case, a dry run for and a wargaming of the situation that rolled out. The next thing is Cyber Polygon, and this is the event I've told you about, where it describes a massive cyber attack which takes out communications and the payment systems of the world and cell phone systems and all these things. And so they did a wargaming kind of multinational test or discussion of potential cyber attacks. And as Klaus Schwab came out and said, the pandemic was one thing, but a massive global worldwide cyber attack will be much more destructive, and that would cause Mad Max. A pandemic does not cause Mad Max, and it didn't. But as we understand that birth pains are increasing in frequency and intensity, we would expect the next big worldwide event, kind of like the pandemic, but a pandemic for computers, i.e. cyber attacks and computer viruses. Well, that's going to be the thing that's really going to shut down a lot of the commerce around the world. It's going to set the stage for economic collapse, and also the stage is going to be set for the Antichrist to take control, because we'll all be in the middle of economic collapse and famine, because there's going to be food shortages, because the supply chain is going to be hung up because nothing's going to be moving. Payments, you won't be able to make Interac or credit card payments. You're not going to be able to communicate with cell phone. Probably GPS is going to be down. It's going to be jammed or hacked or whatever it may be. And that's all part of what they discussed in the Cyber Polygon. Again, just like Event 201 was practiced for the pandemic, Cyber Polygon, go Google it, is practiced for the cyber attack. Could that be the cyber attack again that is spoken of in that particular Netflix movie by a Canadian prepper? I think what we're coming around to, all of us from different sides and certainly different faiths. Canadian prepper isn't a Christian, but he has a different faith. Maybe he has a faith in evolution, a faith in himself, whatever it may be. Everybody has a faith. Everybody has beliefs. So whatever he believes, he believes that something is going to happen soon and likely in 2024. So from all points of view, it's going to be very, very interesting to watch. And so stay tuned. Kind of listen to all your favorite guys and don't take anything as absolute truth. Go read the Bible, understand it for yourself. Be a good Berean and study the Bible. But recognize there's probably going to be some truth in what Scotty said. Maybe some truth in what I said. Maybe some truth in what Canadian Prepper said. We don't know how it's going to roll out. But I encourage you to listen to it and line it up with the Bible, see if it matches, come to your own understanding, because ultimately it's on you to understand if you're saved, to understand the last days, to understand what the Lord is telling you and the way he is leading you. So I highly recommend you do that. It's on you, because ultimately when you get to heaven or you get to hell, it's going to be because of your decision for Christ or not for Christ. That's not my decision. That's not someone else's decision across the road, a neighbor's decision. That's your decision. So you need to figure it out. So pay attention, consume this information, but line it up with your own understanding of the Bible. Go read Revelation chapter 6. I think that's a pretty good timeline, pretty straightforward timeline of events related to the tribulation and then the great tribulation. So anyway, start there, folks. Thanks for watching. I'll leave it there. My power is still going out tonight. But anyways, we will see you in the next video.